Hello everyone, welcome to First Year Teaching Tips. This video series is dedicated to helping any teacher who is in their first year of teaching or in their first year in a new role. Veteran teachers are welcome as well. With that being said, let's begin. So, who am I? My name is Mia, and I am, as of the recording of this video, an 11-year veteran in education. I worked as a high school social science teacher in public and private schools, and currently work as an instructional technology specialist in a public district. When I began teaching, the landscape of education looked very different. However, I have found that there are some tips, tricks, and other bits of information I wish I had known when starting my career. Some of this advice comes from my own experiences, and some of it comes from what others have taught me. So let's dive into this video's tips, focusing on what I would tell my younger self. First, I want to start this video by sharing that this video is the last planned one for the First Year Teaching Tip series. When I first began this project, I did so because there were so many new teachers in my school district, and I wanted to give them an additional resource they could digest on their own time. As I have gone through 2 years of working on this series, I feel like I have covered all of the topics I would share with a new teacher. As such, I feel like this series is at a good ending. I do plan to still create content for this channel, but it will take on a different form for education. It is possible that in the future, I might be inspired to create additional first-year teaching tips, but it is not guaranteed. So I wanted to end this series with a self-reflection of what I would tell my younger self when I first joined the field of education. Some of these ideas may not apply to you, but I hope they inspire you in some small way. If any of these tips are repeated from past videos, I suppose that shows how important I think the ideas are for others to know. Tip number 1, your interests in education may change over time, and that is okay. When I began my career, I was determined to be a history teacher for high school and to make students see the importance of this subject. I wanted to be that veteran who was in one high school for years. However, one master's degree later, and now I am focused on the incorporation of technology for all age levels. There was so much pressure I felt about making a choice in my 20s that would be my forever career. In reality, there are so many other opportunities I had never imagined. Tip number 2, the work will always be there. I remember so vividly how in my early career, one day I went into school when I was terribly sick to pick up essays so I could grade them when I was at home. This was before essays were digitally submitted. Instead of focusing on rest, I was more worried about my students receiving feedback in a timely manner. Looking back on that memory, I would have encouraged my younger self to rest. The work will always be there, but the time to rest and the time to be with the ones you care about may not. Tip number 3, extracurricular support is not a guarantee of job stability. I want to be very careful in what I mean about this tip. In my past positions, I volunteered for a plethora of extracurriculars. I ran clubs, I chaperoned school events, and I attended after-school plays. It felt like many mentors had told me in some way that doing so would be beneficial, even if they didn't explicitly state it. I heard such ideas as it builds the relationship with the students. It shows you are a real go-getter. However, no matter how many extracurriculars I supported in some positions, they didn't guarantee me a job. Does supporting after-school activities have benefits? Of course. However, temper the expectations of what those benefits may be and make certain you have time for yourself. Tip number 4, relationships are at the heart of education. I heard this from my mentors so much when I was younger, and I did not like this idea. I was in education for the academics and to be the kind of teacher that would take no nonsense. However, this tip is one that I wish I had absorbed earlier. Relationships with your students, your colleagues, and your supervisors are what are going to determine your day in and day out experiences. Working to have positive ones with all of those people will make life so much easier for you. Those relationships are not guaranteed to be positive, but trying your best to make them positive will make you feel better about yourself as a person. Tip number 5. Your path in education may take you to places you never expected. This idea ties back into tip 1. I thought I would be a social science teacher for all of my life. I was determined to beat the statistic I kept hearing about how educators burn out within the first few years in the classroom. I refused to be a failure, or at least that is how I perceived it. What I didn't realize is that there is so much more one can do in education besides being a classroom teacher. You can be a content specialist, a technology specialist, or aim to go into administration in your school. When I went through my teacher certification program, none of these possibilities were really directly offered to me. I always thought of that statistic about burnout referred to teachers giving up and going to other work outside of education. However, I wonder about this statistic now, which varies in years depending on the source. How many teachers are being lost for other careers in education? They may not be in a traditional classroom, but they still might be teaching others. Teaching is a difficult profession that is often perceived as not being difficult, at least in the United States. I suppose if I could say anything to my younger self, it would be to have more grace for yourself and others. It is a cliche, but you never know what events will shape your life and how they may put you on a whole new trajectory. Be open to the possibilities. Thank you for watching this video. If you are interested in learning more, please like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also go to my website, www.guidegrowtech.com, for even more information on a variety of topics. Finally, I hope this video helped you grow in your knowledge of this topic. I also hope to help you grow in the future in new ways. Take care.